Welcome to Community Connections. I'm Tom Loucks, and today in the studio I have Stephen Carlton, and we're going to talk about the Literacy Council. So Stephen, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right, well, I'm Stephen Carlton, of course, and I'm the director of the Central Wisconsin Literacy Council.
All righty, where is the literacy located? I know it's here in Wood County, but you also have it in Marathon County as well.
Yes, we actually have 3 offices as of January 1st of this year. So on January 1st, after more than a year of working together, the Literacy Council of Wood County and the Marathon County Literacy Council virtually combined operations. And then we also reopened an office in Marshfield at about the same time, just a temporarily, occasionally staffed office. So we have an office in Wisconsin Rapids, our main one, and we're in the lower level of St. John's Episcopal Church, 320 Oak Street, right across from the United Way, basically. And then we have an office in Marshfield inside the St. Vincent de Paul building on North Central Avenue. And then we have an office in Wausau, right in the library on First Street, downtown.
All righty, well, we'll talk about your staff here in a little bit. Let's talk about what literacy is all about. Let's just define literacy.
Oh boy. Literacy covers so many different fields, but primarily what the Literacy Council is providing is help, assistance with people learning to read. Well, English literacy skills, first of all. I have to clarify that because on occasion we get people that say, oh, can you teach me Spanish? We don't. We're not focused on helping people learn another language, but we're helping them learn English and improve their English skills. So English literacy skills covers the gamut from reading, writing, speaking, and listening in English and being able to respond in English. But English as a second language for somebody who may have been born elsewhere or raised under another language, even in the U.S. and needed to learn English. Basic computer skills, because using a computer these days, at least in this country, is pretty much in English. Very basic math skills, so we can help people with enough math skills to either pass their high school diploma, a GED equivalent or a high school diploma, or an AccuPlacer to get into a technical college system. And then we have a branch that we explore, dabble in, and it's called health literacy, and we do some special projects throughout the community, really just helping people understand their medical information that they have.
Well, I bet a lot of people around here feel that it really doesn't exist. They probably think Mexico, Honduras, down in that area. But it is true right here in central Wisconsin.
It's very true. It's very true right here in Wood County. We actually get a lot of inquiries, like you said a moment ago, and I get questioned a lot by people saying, is it all a certain population? And it's definitely not all that population, and it's usually a foreign population that they're referring to. Probably half of all of the adults we serve were born and raised in the United States. Many of them are Caucasian. So yes, we do serve quite a few people who were born elsewhere, but we're serving just as many, if not more, that were born and raised right here in the U.S.
Well, right here in the Wisconsin Rapids area, we have a little bit higher population, the Hispanic population, a little bit more, and we have the Hmong population. Do you see those people coming to get some help with their English language?
Well, we have provided services in the past few years to Hmong and Hispanic and Chinese and Americans and Russians, and we have somebody that came into our program recently from Morocco. So we don't discriminate based on where they came from. But again, I want to emphasize that many of the people we serve in this area are the people that you would see as your neighbor or somebody that you might see at church or at the grocery store. We have people from India here in the Wisconsin Rapids area that we're helping, just from all over the world.
Yeah, and again, it's not just reading. It has to do with math. I even see on your website health, educating health.
Yes, health literacy is a big component. There are statistics that say that just in the state of Wisconsin, the the impact on the economy due to low health literacy annually exceeds $8 billion. $8 billion due to low health literacy. Now that doesn't mean that thousands of Wisconsinites are unable to read anything and therefore that's what's driving the cost up. But low health literacy covers a gamut of topics, from people who don't follow a medical prescription or don't understand it to begin with, to an insurance claim doesn't get processed, to a person that should have a mammogram by a certain age but doesn't, and other complications come about. So the health literacy program is varied. There are many medical organizations around the country that are trying to reduce the, or not reduce, but adjust the language that health information is written in to bring it down to a lower, more understandable level.
Well, you have 3 locations. You can't be there yourself.
You'd be surprised.
You use volunteers. You can't be in every location at once. So how does someone get involved to help you and help others? You take volunteers.
Yeah, the vast majority of our quote-unquote staff are volunteer staff. We're led by a volunteer board of directors. We have volunteer tutors. We have volunteers who help in our office, different offices. But the vast majority of our staff are volunteers. We do have 3 staff actually. I'm full-time, and then we have a half-time program assistant who's primarily based out of our Wausau office. And we have a very part-time office assistant working out of our Wisconsin Rapids office doing some data maintenance. But we utilize volunteers however and wherever we can, but primarily as tutors.
And they help out a lot. I mean, they can be anybody from high school level on up to come and sign up. It looks like 18 and older.
Yeah, to be a tutor, you have to be at least 18. We haven't had anybody younger than probably mid-20s in the last few years, but the opportunity is there. If you wanted to be a volunteer with us and you were at least 18 years old, we could probably put you to use. You might not be able to be a tutor at the age of 18. It's going to depend on the skills you bring.
Just going over your website here, internships was on here as well. So are you guys looking at college students down the road for some help?
Well, actually, we've employed the use of college interns out of the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point for the past 3 years, and we usually have an intern every semester, often out of the communication division, sometimes out of the foreign language and English as a second language or education departments.
Well, let's talk about support. How do you receive funding so this can continue and help others here in central Wisconsin?
Well, funding's always an ongoing opportunity for nonprofit organizations, but we are a United Way agency in Southwood County, and we are also a United Way agency in Marathon County this year, and so we have some funding from those 2 sources, and then we also do some fundraising on our own. We do quite a bit of grant writing. We have some wonderful corporate supporters who are regular contributors from their respective foundations, who give us anywhere from $200 or $300 up to several $1,000s, and then we're pursuing grants constantly. And then we have a small fee for service from the adults we serve.
Now, if someone needs help, they're watching this program here today, do they just give the office a call and you would help set up an appointment for them?
That's the best way to do it right now, is to call our number. And what we did a couple of years ago is we arranged a toll-free telephone number. So anybody actually anywhere in the state of Wisconsin can call that toll-free number and reach us. But obviously it's designed for people in the immediate area. But every once in a while we have a family member calling from outside of Wood or Marathon County, calling on behalf of a relative who lives here. The family member might be in the Milwaukee or Madison area. But they call our toll-free number, and we go through the basics of making an appointment, and explaining what the first few steps are. The first few steps are completing an application and providing us some additional information. We go from there to when we first meet with them, the very first thing they have to give us is some sort of a test. So, they have to take a very basic assessment. That scares people. Mm-hmm. That scares people. That four-letter word test can really scare people. But we can help people get over test anxiety, and that's a lot of what we do, is help people have that confidence so they can not be so concerned about test, because the test is just, that initial test is just something to give us a base to work on and know where to start from.
Is there any cost to the individual again to come and get help, or is that free?
There is a cost. It's $75 per year. And again, that comes from, depending on the situation, we have some people that pay it out of their own pocket. They can pay it in installments, and we have other people that in certain situations we have grants that say, well, this grant will cover so many people. And then we have some people on W-2 and other programs like that where the program that they belong to helps pay or pays for a portion of their fee.
Well, you got staff in all locations, so people just need to pick up the phone if they do need some help, maybe just understanding their prescriptions written, or just need a little bit of assistance. They can just call that number that you have. And why don't you give the phone number for the Wisconsin Rapids office? Actually,
it's the same phone number for the entire council, and it's a toll-free number. So it's 1-855-483-7229.
Well, you just came under a change of your logo, as we were talking about before the show. You also added on a little bit of different change here in this year of the location. Is that right? Added one of the other locations that weren't here?
Well, we reopened an office in Marshfield inside the St. Vincent de Paul building. We don't have staff in there all the time. What we do is it gives us a meeting spot. It's a shared office space we have, and we work collaboratively with St. Vincent de Paul on some other projects. So, but it gives us a nice, warm, comfortable spot where we can meet in central and it's easy to find, versus saying to somebody, well, I can meet you at such and such a place, and they don't know where it is and you have to make a private arrangement. So we have that office, we have the office in Wausau, and we have the office in Wisconsin Rapids. And no, I can't be everywhere at once, but so far it's been working out that we're able to have a part-time staff member primarily out of Wausau, and who helps cover Marshfield as well. And then I cover Rapids and Marshfield and Wausau.
Alrighty. Well, you also have a board of directors looking here. And quite a few people there. Do you guys meet often? Do they help you out, come up with new ideas? And
well, the board is a governing board, and so we do have some wonderful people on our board. In fact, from Marshfield TV, we even have somebody on our board.
Yeah, I see Karen Din is on there. So
yep.
Something we've worked together as well, since
yep.
we're both a community access station.
She's been a great asset. Everybody on the board has been a great asset. The challenge of a board that has to serve an area that covers a fairly large geographic area and represents different business professionals and things like that is getting them together. So this past board meeting was snowed out twice by this winter, but they still met. The technology available today allowed them to meet online versus in person, but we only have 4 board meetings a year, and then they have subcommittee meetings that meet in between.
Do you look for donations at all, computers, books at all?
We absolutely accept donations towards computers. In fact, we have a computer literacy program where we teach the very basics of using computers, from turning on a computer all the way up through setting up email and using safe websites. But we use fairly new equipment for that, and we've actually received some grants recently to upgrade to new equipment. In fact, just in the last few days, we've been purchasing the new equipment. As far as older computers donated to us, we don't really want those at this point. We actually had several Windows XP units, which as of yesterday were obsolete.
That's right.
So we've found other uses for those things. We've given them to other places that were okay to use them. But when we teach our computer skills, we go online, and the Windows XP wouldn't allow us to do that. As far as books, we accept some book donations, but what happens sometimes is people want to give us all of their old books, and really the adult literacy student needs a very specific level of book. So you can't just assume, or I don't know a nice way to say it, but if you gave us like your whole set of Penguin books that you had left over from college, probably the vast majority of them are much too difficult for the adult learners we're helping.
Do you see this area or the Wausau area or the Marshfield area, is there a difference in the population of needing your program?
Absolutely. We see a much greater need of people in the Wausau and the Wisconsin Rapids areas than we do in the Marshfield area, but that's based on demographics. Now, in the Marshfield area, we tend to see many, many more clients who are born elsewhere. So, and they're coming to us for English as a second or third language. The Wausau area, we have some of that. We have a larger Hmong population among our students in the Wausau area. So Marshfield, we have a larger Hispanic or Latino population. Wisconsin Rapids, we tend to have a higher native English speaker population. So.
Alrighty, well that definitely keeps you guys moving about, and a lot of different changes that happen. How do you keep up with the change too? Is that always difficult? I mean, you got to keep up with technology, just like we were talking about computers. How do you stay up with that? How do you get your volunteers to be able to continue that?
Well, some of the things that we've done in the last few years is we invested. When I say we invested, we truly invested our financial resources in better training materials and assessments. So what I shared earlier about, we get some adults who they completely fear taking that test, that initial test. That T word is scary. And I have to admit, I never liked a test when I was in junior high or high school. Anywhere from a written test to a swimming test. I just did anything I could to avoid them. But when I developed the confidence to say, well, it's just another tool. You can call it something else. You could call it a banana if you want, and then it's just a banana, and you get through it. It's not that big of a deal. So once. I can't even remember what your question was. I apologize.
No, just trying to keep up with technology. That's a hard thing in any business or anything you do today.
Yeah.
It changes so rapidly, and to help people with the latest technology, if it has to do with computers, that you almost need to keep updated, and that's expensive.
It is expensive, and we're really fortunate to have a grant met recently to help us upgrade to Windows 8 laptops and a tablet and some other devices. So again, we're relying on donations and grants and things like that to be able to do that. But we participate in different conferences. We're members of Wisconsin Literacy, which is a sort of an umbrella organization for us based out of Madison. And they do a lot of behind the scenes larger grant writing for all the organizations across the state. We also participate with the Wisconsin Technical College system in their conferences when we can. So we were just at one last week, and my staff member and I were there, and we learned a lot. Came back from that. We had a lot of the things that we heard They were already underway in our council, which is great because it's like, wow, hey, we're doing that. Great. So keeping up with the technology, sure, it's a challenge. It might be a bigger challenge for us because we don't have state funding to pay for those things, but we have supporters out there that like to see what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And we were very fortunate recently to have some grants come in to help us purchase new computers.
I don't know if I asked you this before, but I just wanted to touch base. Can any age come to you for help?
No, we are an adult literacy
Okay.
council, so that is a question we get asked on occasion. So we serve people 18 and older, and on occasion I'll have somebody ask, "Oh, my son's really struggling," and this or that. While we can't provide the tutor for that individual or even test them for that, if I know of somebody, I'll definitely refer them. So there are sources. There are sources in the community. We actually have a volunteer who volunteers for us as a tutor with adults, who also does private tutoring on the side, and she's a retired teacher. So if you can afford a small fee, then she can help you. But I mean, and there are probably some people out there who would volunteer that for free, but that's not necessarily something I have the means of supporting.
Well, people have a chance to give that number a call. It's the number for all 3 locations. It's right on the bottom of your screen right now, so you can need help in that area, give them a call. I'm sure they'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. And Stephen, thank you so much for coming on board here and talking about your program. And I know it's a big help in the central Wisconsin area. And you're there, and your staff is there to help everyone out.
Well, we'll help where we can.
You bet.
We'll help where we can. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right. Well, thank you for watching Community Connections, and we'll see you next time.